You were telling me that there was another kip in the speedrunning
Yeah,
community.
I got messaged by someone from Speed Gaming today asking if I was willing to track another match at 6 o'clock, and apparently he was talking about the Legend of Zelda tournament or something. So I guess there's another kip out there. One thing to note, it seems kind of obvious, but sometimes you forget. Not every category in this tournament requires starting in series. Any percent does, GT Classic does, 100% does, but Mini Boss RTA actually starts you on the planet. So we'll get to see a little bit of Ridley here at the start.
Looks like Popplars was getting some shots in on Ridley there, taking out some frustrations maybe.
Series Ridley RTA.
Well, there is a bounty out there for that, unofficial bounty.
Yeah, I saw that.
Ridley.
Shoutouts to Gambrinus for the bounties. So one thing to note when you're watching the runners go through series is there's a lot of RNG in series, and the kind of patterns you get in terms of the steam and also the tiles coming from the ceiling in that next to last room are random each time. So you can't just memorize a set pattern and get that one every single time.
It looks like they had a 44 and a 43. Very nice.
Yeah, off to a great start. Oh, we already have divergence here. Poplar's using the Japanese text, and Toaster keeping it in the English there.
I like that timer that Nintoaster has. It's a nice looking timer.
Looks good. I also like Nintoaster's name. It's very, very clever. All right, so basically, kind of like most other categories, you're going to see the runners start off by simply heading down, grabbing the alpha missiles, and then heading back up for the climb and going to Bomb Teresa to pick up bombs. And then once they get to Terminator, they will grab their E-Tank and get the early supers. But after that, GT Classic actually has some significant divergence from the other kind of main categories. You're going to see the runners skip, or most likely, you're going to see the runner skip charge missiles and also skip charge beam itself. So we'll keep an eye out on that and kind of talk you through that as we see it. Popplars with a little bit of a lead here, heading down to Morph Ball.
Very nice moonfalls from both of the runners.
Even though I've played it a bunch of times, I still find the opening few minutes of the game to be like really kind of creepy. I think they did an excellent job kind of setting the atmosphere with the subtle music and, you know, the sort of shady background. Really cool.
Oh, definitely. I love when you get back up the elevator and the faces kind of turn to look at you.
Yeah.
That's really good.
All right, Poplar's heading up the elevator, and we'll see the original Mother Brain room before we head to the climb, which, oddly enough, this is kind of interesting for Super Metroid. The climb is one of the most technically demanding sections of the entire run, and it happens very early. That's kind of not the case for a lot of other games, which I find kind of neat.
All right, looks like they're both off to a good start.
Both utilizing the Behemoth climb. Very nice. Or excuse me, the Sephi climb.
Yeah, very nice. And then getting through the parlor here is kind of like the climb part 2, because it's you know, just a different continuation of the climb.
Absolutely. Nice entry by Nintoaster. Additionally by Popplars.
Looks like they both got to bombs right around the 5-minute mark. Give or take a second.
Yeah. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I know there are several people in the chat who could mention this as well, but sometimes what you saw Nintoaster do right there is he jumped into the item to collect it and he turned away from it. I think you basically call that like a wall check or something like that. So basically it kind of extends Samus's hitbox, I believe, and allows her to pick something up even just frames earlier than normal. Look at this sink, dude.
Oh,
Oof.
those Popplars got out of there with 4 missiles. It looked like the drops weren't very good to her, but otherwise, we're seeing some good sync.
Absolutely. And now we're coming up on Alcatraz, one of the first sort of tricky tricks. And Toaster grabs it. And Popplars is through as well. Ooh, very nice strat right there by Nintoaster. He should be able to... Let's see if he does it. Okay, he took damage there. Not such a huge deal. Most people in this category will shoot and kill the pirates like he just did right there. And he's going to want to, at minimum, have 1 missile at the bottom here, but a lot of times, most people try to have 2. Looks like Popplars is going to go with the old route method of just running through, which is not that's not necessarily a problem, but can be dangerous later.
Yeah, I just run through. Sometimes it's just a matter of like what you're used to, what you're comfortable with, and I run through them also, just thinking of like any % old route, muscle memory, I guess. For sure. It's definitely faster. It's just, you know, sometimes it just kind of depends on how you want to run it. In this category, you have a little bit longer before you get to Kraid, you know, because you have to go up Red Tower to get the power bomb. So sometimes if you want to do deboost up there and stuff like that, you know, you want to conserve a little energy, but I'm sure Popplars will be just fine. Ooh, very nice double fast fall from Nintoaster there. Oh, Popplars with the double fast fall also. We're seeing really similar strats from both of them.
Yeah, looking good. So here's where the run kind of deviates a good bit from other more, you know, traditional categories like 80% hundo, you know, pretty much any of those other ones. Most of the time you're going to pick up charge beam right down here. And in a lot of categories, you're going to pick up the charge missiles as well. But in this category, there's no real like requirement to have them. So Nintoaster skipped them. Looks like Popplars is going to grab that extra missile pack. Give it a little bit more leeway. Looks like she's also going to grab charge.
And you know, it could be, they are nice items to have. At least they can help you with the Kraid quick kill or kind of with Kraid's area. You know, like you said, they're optional, but not a bad thing to have. Definitely not. I remember when I first started doing this category, I collected charge too, because I was mostly used to the charge Kraid quick kill. Yeah, and we already see her using charge shots right here. So even like these rooms, it's kind of a nice comfort item to have. Absolutely. Ooh, very nice red tower climb by Nintoaster. Yeah. Looks like he's probably trying to collect some missiles. Yeah, there we go. Very good. Since Nintoaster did not get the charge missiles, he only has 5, you know, maximum, which can actually be kind of tricky to deal with in this category as you get, you know, closer to Kraid. But the good news is that he'll also have power bombs, which can be used on those pirates before Kraid. So we'll see how they, you know, choose to use their different ammos. Popplars having a nice hellway there, not getting caught in any of the flowers. Ooh, nice down back as well. Yeah, I like this little bit of extra farming that Nintoaster's doing here. Just a little bit of extra energy and ammo. Absolutely. It's really funny, you know, most of the people that are watching a lot of these tournament matches have probably watched a lot of regular runs.
And it's kind of neat how people use slightly different strats when they're in a race setting as opposed to just going for a PB. And I think farming there was a good decision. Dying in a race is like the absolute worst thing that you can do. Looks like Popplars is using that opportunity to farm a few more supers. Those CAC attacks will always drop supers like, I think, 99.6% or something. Now here, you'll notice Nintoaster broke the glass early. Not something that happens in every category, but the whole point of that is that the next time that he enters that room to go to Meridia, he will actually already have space jump and gravity suit. So as he enters that room, he'll just jump straight up and he won't have to wait for the glass to break. A little bit of a time saver.
Yeah, and whether you decide to break it early or not, the most important thing is to remember whether you broke it or not, because you don't want to run in there thinking it's sealed and just like run straight into it, and you also don't want to break it and then or I guess you don't want to run into a giant jump thinking it's open when it's not. So
absolutely, I've definitely been guilty.
Yeah, just make sure you remember what you did, because you're not actually going to be back there for a good while.
Luckily, Nintoaster had plenty of missiles as he entered that room with Mini Kraid and the 3 pirates. If you don't have enough missiles to kill those guys and you don't have charge beam, then dropping a power bomb is the best thing to do, but he didn't have to do that. So looks like he's going to use the double missile Kraid quick kill. Very nice. FBS, you want to go ahead and tell us about Prom, I guess?
Yeah, so Prom, well, basically, well, you're the originator of that, so really you should be the one doing it. But yeah, the Kraid quick kill is where you take out Kraid as quickly as possible without him standing up. And there's a couple of different ways to do it. Actually, let's see what method is Popplars going to use, because she has the charge shot, and there is a charge shot method she might use. But ideally, you don't want to see Kraid stand up and go to Prom.
Absolutely. Nintoaster with the literal perfect ammo at the moment. At this point, the regular missiles are not as important. It's the supers. You only have 5, and the next kind of checkpoint that FBS was telling us about earlier is you have the lava dive, and then in addition you have a green gate glitch that you have to do. But the tricky part is you only have 5 supers. So if you're going for a PB, and by the way, nice quick kill by Popplars there. If you're going for a PB, you know, when you get down to the green gate glitch and you accidentally mess up 5 times in a row, well, your run is pretty much over. Here, I think we'll probably see saves before Lower Norfair by both runners. But it's good to have as many supers as possible heading down there, and I'm sure he'll farm back to full before he gets there.
So I noticed that Nintoaster skipped the Kraid E-Tank, so that's another sort of optional item. We'll see if Popplars gets it or not. But, you know, having that extra E-Tank does help with the lava dive potentially. You know, like if you mess up, it's nice to have that that extra safety net.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's optional.
Yeah, if you with kind of a more regular lava dive, it's possible to actually skip the Kraid E-Tank and just get the Terminator one and the high jump boot ones, or high jump boots one. And it's possible to actually miss the lava dive initially and still have enough energy to get up there. It's very tight, but it can be done. But having that extra E-Tank, especially in a race setting, I think is a really good call by Popplars. Notice that, oh, that was a very nice cathedral by Nintoaster. That room right there, the cathedral room, is actually one of the trickier rooms in this run, because in every other category, essentially you have charge beam, and a lot of times you'll pseudo screw on that last jump. But since he doesn't have it, he used a D boost. And now you can see the race portion of this starting to shine through. Taking a save at Bubble Mountain right prior to the lava dive, just to make sure that if anything bad happens, he doesn't have to start all the way over.
Yeah, that's a good place to do one.
And I'm doing everything I possibly can not to go absolutely crazy over the high jump boots, so I'll refrain from all the nice things I'd like to say. Nintoaster now farming up to what I would imagine will be full supers. There he goes, and now he is ready to attempt the lava dive. and the green gate glitch when he makes it down there.
So what do you think? Do you think he'll do a safety save after the lava dive?
Definitely. I think he will because of the green gate glitch potential. I would anyway in a race. I mean, maybe he won't, but I think it would be a good, a good decision.
Looks like he's going for the bounce ball setup.
Very good.
Yeah, that was a very nice entry.
All right. All right, Nintoaster, excellent job on the lava dive.
Making it look easy.
And there goes the extra save. Which I think FBS, you know how I feel. I would highly advocate for safety saves in a race. So
yeah, for this category, see, we see Popplars saving here. For this category, I really like both of those safety saves. And then once you get past, so this next obstacle, the green gate glitch that Nintoaster is approaching and Popplars is going to be at soon. You're opening this green gate from the wrong side, and they're going to have 5 shots at it. There's really nowhere to fill up supers in this area, so you really have to get it in these 5 shots. But once you get past this, the run becomes much safer.
Oh, baby, look at that.
Oh, very
well done.
Very nice, and a damage boost after it, too.
And Nintoaster making it look really easy. So, FBS, why don't you explain to us what he's doing right now?
All right, so we mentioned this GT code that's either referred to as a cheat code or a debug code. Basically, when you enter that door that Nintoaster just entered, all you need to do is hold all 4 face buttons, and on a certain frame, it checks to see if you're holding all 4. And once you get in the room, you let go of those. You see that Nintoaster now has gravity suit on and 7 E-tanks and lots of ammo and items and stuff. You'll see that he paused as soon as he got in there to turn off Spazer. That's because you really don't want to have Spazer and Plasma shooting at the same time. You can easily crash the game that way. So, yeah, it's kind of a peculiar code because it can crash the game if you're not careful.
Popplars basically had a perfect lava dive and then just accidentally just barely missed the last wall jump at the very top. Very unfortunate, but I'm sure she'll get it next. In terms of Nintoaster, ladies and gentlemen, you are essentially about to watch the beauty of what GT Classic is, which is once you make it to this point, there's nothing really left that's like super dangerous because you're overpowered, and it just becomes a straight boss rush. So he's going to go to Ridley as fast as he can, and then as soon as he's done, he's going to make his way up to Meridia to kill Dragon. And the cool thing about GT Classic is, like, if you look at Nintoaster's screen, you don't see grapple and you don't see X-ray. But they actually are still there. They're just not visible. So in this particular category in Meridia, you can microwave both Botwoon and Dragon. So that's something we'll see that we don't normally see. But yeah, at this point, it's just go fast and kill bosses. And there's a little spring ball hype there. Popplars heading back down to the lava dive. She had a really nice one going there. It was very unfortunate with the last little jump, but lava dive is one of those things that is not easy at all to do.
Yeah, it's really unforgiving. Just the slightest little thing, and you don't get it. So
exactly. Nice initial KO by Nintoaster there in the wasteland. Ooh,
oh no.
She did an excellent job of dodging the flames before she jumped up for that final jump there.
Yeah, that was actually really good dodging. The thing is, in a race, everything is automatically harder. It's just...
Yep.
Yeah. I was hanging out in her channel earlier, and she was getting this trick like over and over and over again, no problem. Races just make everything harder.
Exactly. So now, in GT Classic, you essentially have, in terms of stylistically, you pretty much have an old route fight against Ridley because you have full beam combo. Some people will sometimes supplement super missiles in the fight, especially if they get Ridley in a pogo pattern, since supers do double damage to Ridley, but otherwise you're just going to hit him with 20 charged shots, and that's the fight.
In GT Classic, how do you feel about using supers on Ridley?
Personally, I use them, and I usually open with them. I actually had this discussion with like Static 9 and Sephi and some other people recently. Technically, if you open up with 6 of them, it's the same as 4 charge shots, and you can unload 6 into Ridley at the start of the fight faster than you can do 4 charge shots. So, especially in this particular category where your ammo count is kind of irrelevant, like, you know, you don't even have to have any supers technically at all in Torian to still succeed. So I usually take advantage of my supers as much as I can. Unfortunately, Popplars having to reset again. And let's see if Nintoaster will do the spring ball strat. Oh, here we go. That's for all you spring ball lovers out there.
The reverse KO.
Yeah, that's beautiful. He's gonna go for the speed ball. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, lower Norfair just has the best tricks in the game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Every room is just so much fun. So much fun to play and so much fun to watch.
I would like to point out that, objectively, Nintoaster is having an absolutely fantastic GT Classic run right now. He had a very fast lava dive, first try green gate glitch, very quick GT fight, and his Ridley fight didn't last long either, so he's doing quite well so far. And I am 100% confident, I'm calling it right now. I know for sure that Popplars is going to get the lava dive this time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I like using that room she was just in for like a little bit of last minute farming. So you could farm those whatever those are, those lava projectiles, and get some energy there.
Yeah, that's a good point. In fact, I believe that, I think Overfiend VIP has the world record for this, and he avoids farming the bugs because it's an extra door. Mm-hmm. So he just tries, if he needs to, he just tries to pick up some items from those guys. Excellent.
Oh, see, all we had to do was call it. We should have just called it the first time.
Popplars through the lava dive and ready to do some green gate glitching. Nintoaster now making his way back to Business Center and going to head into Meridia. And FBS, if you want to go ahead when we get there and just sort of explain the advantage, as we talked about earlier, of having that tube broken.
Oh, right. Yeah, Nintoaster is on his way back to the tube room. With it already being broken, you're going to see Nintoaster just run and jump into that room and do a really nice tall jump and save the time of having to morph and lay a bomb now.
There it is.
Yeah, just space jump right up there. Actually, we should talk about the boss fights that we're about to see too, because you know, this category is really interesting in that you have Plasma Beam already, when typically you wouldn't have Plasma Beam until after you kill Dragon. So having Plasma Beam when you go to fight Batmoon and Plasma when you're going to go fight Dragon, and having X-Ray is it's kind of an interesting combination. Do you want to explain that, the so-called microwave beam?
Yeah, sure. And real quick, unfortunately, Popplars ran out of super missiles. That's the danger of this category. Like when you only, you can only collect basically those 5 super missiles prior, and it's really easy. I can't tell you how many times I've gone down to that green gate glitch and actually lost the whole run because of it. So it's definitely not easy. So the microwave beam that FBS is referring to, we mentioned earlier that they actually have X-ray, you just can't see it. So what he's going to do is he's going to select X-ray, charge and release a plasma shot, and then use X-ray to slow the beam down. And you'll notice that Batwoon is getting hit multiple times. So Batwoon just got hit, 5, 6, 7 times for 900 damage a pop, which was enough to kill him. And he's going to do the same thing to Dragon. This is the only category in terms of sort of like the regular no major glitches categories, which, let me rephrase, GT Classic uses basically the same rules as no major glitches. The only difference is the code that you use. But in terms of other no major glitches, it's the only category that you can use the microwave beam in. So Poplar's getting that green gate glitch.
Oh, it seems like something went wrong with the GT code.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
She had a really nice green gate glitch. What I like that she did, she used a power bomb and got the green gate glitch during the power bomb explosion.
Oh, I love doing that.
It's kind of a neat little trick because the power bomb creates a little bit of lag and helps you kind of time the green gate glitch. But yeah, something went wrong there.
Do you want to explain the crouching thing here with the microwave?
Yeah, so we're going to see Nintoaster do the same kind of microwave thing here on Dragon, and you'll see that he's ducking as he does it, and as soon as you see Samus stand up, that actually happened really fast, but as soon as you see Samus stand up, you know that Dragon is dead. The game will automatically put Samus in a standing position.
Now, FBS, I could be wrong about this, and I'm sure some of the people in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think from a technical level, it's the same mechanism that actually gives people the blue suit, because it forces you to stand up while you're in the middle of your spark, and that's what gives it to you, I think. Yeah,
I think regardless of like whatever position you're in, whether you're in a shine spark or ducking or jumping or whatever, it just puts you into this standing position and kind of interrupts what you were doing. So
that's a good way to tell, yeah.
It's interesting that it gives you kind of this visual cue, because otherwise you wouldn't know, and you might just keep microwaving and over microwaving and wasting time. So it's a nice little cue.
Let's see, what is Popplars doing here?
So I like the morph ball strat that she's using. If you enter the room in a morph ball state, it's a kind of a safer strategy to make sure you don't accidentally fire off a shot.
Ooh, unfortunately, looks like she did not get the code. Again, like Fruit Bat Salad mentioned earlier, the code is you have to hold, all the face buttons, so A, B, and X and Y all together while you do the door transition, and that will, basically initiate the code and give you all the items. I like to lovingly refer to it as Zaby to make a little reference to Chrono Trigger.
And one thing that can mess it up is if you, I guess if you start holding them too late, or if you let go of it too early, then that can just cause it to not happen.
Yeah, there's a specific frame during the door transition that it's checking, and if you accidentally do it too late or too early, just unfortunately won't trigger. She's nailing that down back every single time going down into that green gate glitch room though, which is great to see. Okay, there's something. Oh, good job, Popplars. There's something that I want to explain that Nintoaster's doing right here. Notice that he is jumping. A lot of people's natural inclination in that section is to shine spark, but shine sparking is actually slower in this category because shine sparking ends with a crash animation that you have to sit still in for a second or two. And so by getting a lot of horizontal momentum and then jumping and space jumping across, you avoid the need for that crash animation.
Yeah, I like the space jump into the wreck ship like that. I still do a shine spark out of the wreck ship.
Yeah.
Maybe I think jumping might be faster there too, but I just do the shine spark out of habit.
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm back and forth on that in my runs. It's faster to not shine spark, but it's safer to shine spark because the main culprit is actually accidentally bonking that door on the way out and losing all of your momentum.
Yeah.
So here we got one more microwave. And good night, Ghost.
I see Mako Bites in chat saying that the Green Gate Glitch is the true final boss. I kind of agree with that. I think the Green Gate Glitch is the toughest part of this category.
Okay, so we have a viewer that says that y'all need to call her getting it again, just like we did the...
Oh yeah, she's got it this time.
She's definitely going to get the Green Gate Glitch right here and definitely going to get the code.
Yeah.
All right, hopefully we'll see Nintoaster use the very nice spring ball strats in Wreck Ship. And here's what we were talking about earlier. This room is actually very tricky. It's faster to jump.
All right, so here's Popplars getting the GT code. I'm just calling it. Here she is.
Nintoaster did get the jump, so he's in good shape to jump all the way across here. Oh, almost. And at this point, Nintoaster is just going to make his way to Torian. You know, we kind of talked about the routing, but we didn't really necessarily talk about why. I guess it's a little intuitive, but we'll explain anyway. The reason that this category is fastest for doing, you know, Kraid and then Ridley, then Dragon, and then Phantoon is because it basically eliminates any kind of inefficient routing. So, you know, when you get the code, you're already in Lower Norfair, so you just kill Ridley. And then it's faster to do Meridia on the way up to Wreck Ship. And then Wreck Ship, you're already on the surface and you have very, you know, a really short distance to run to get to Torian. So it's a really super efficient route.
Yeah, and ideally, this is the kind of boss order that you would want to do in like an item randomizer. If the items kind of allow you to do it, it's just a really efficient route. And there was the any % task recently by Snick that uses this boss order, even without the GT code. It's just really efficient routing.
Oh, there we go. We got the code. Let's go.
All right, turning off Spazer.
And now Popplars is supercharged with all of her items and ready to go. Did you mention earlier, you might have, I'm sorry if I missed it, but did you mention that the GT code does not give you screw attack?
No, I don't think we talked about that. It's kind of unusual that it gives you everything except for that, all the major items except for that, but then screw attack is right here, so it's easy to kind of pick it up.
Yeah, never worry, it's literally right there.
Yeah.
And
it's also,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's unusual that it actually, I think earlier I said it gives you 7 E-tanks. I should probably correct myself. It gives you 700 energy, but like not 7 E-tanks. Because if you really had 7 E-tanks, you would have 799.
That's a good point.
That last E-tank that you see up there only has 1 energy in it.
Yes.
Kind of weird. So you get 700 energy, 100 missiles, 20 supers, and 20 power bombs, that's not all of the E-tanks in the game, but it's enough to pretty much be comfortable and be safe anywhere.
Yeah. The thing I was going to mention earlier, and Nintoaster's now done with all the Metroid rooms, is this is a really interesting category, kind of similar to 100%, I guess, in Torian, due to the fact that you really don't have to pay any attention at all to the drops. Like, you can actually just ignore all the drops if you want to. Even if you end up running out of super missiles, you have plenty of regular missiles to not soft lock at Mother Brain. So, you know, you basically can just kind of go all out and go as fast as you possibly can.
All right, Nintoaster setting up for baby skip.
Great job so far. Oh. Looks like baby at least gonna get a couple snacks tonight here. Snacking on Samus for a second and then Mother Brain later.
Yeah, facing right though, saving those 40 frames.
Yeah, that's right. Or as Popplars likes to say, looking back on the beautiful run that you accomplished.
Well, it saves 40 frames, right? I mean, sometimes I like to miss the baby skip just so I can save those 40 frames. It's a time save.
I feel you.
Because otherwise, you don't save those 40.
It's all about how you look at things in life, right? Positive attitude all the way.
Popplars dealing with the nerd and scrub in Lower Norfair. Or is it scrub and nerd? I always get those mixed up.
Looks like Nintoaster now employing the race save strategy. You'll notice a lot of people in these races will be using saves where they normally would not in like a normal kind of PB, obviously, attempt. But he's just making sure that if anything weird were to happen, even though he has a lot of health and he's very unlikely to die to Mother Brain, like in a traditional way, it's still technically possible to soft lock even at Mother Brain 2 because of the stand-up glitch, which we'll talk about when he gets there.
So in this scenario, you know, we'll see if he does the stand-up glitch or not. I think earlier we saw him take Varia off, so it seems like he is going to do it. But in GT Classic, the stand-up glitch really doesn't last as long because you don't have as many E-tanks as you would in 100%.
Yeah, you have to be careful.
So I've soft locked there before, but I'm confident Nintoaster can get it though.
Absolutely. In fact, I will bring up a theoretical that I talked about at length in the Rando tournament, which is in a race scenario, if you're running a category that has stand-up glitch and, you know, if you're ahead of your opponent to the degree where not doing stand-up glitch would actually not affect your, your lead or whatever, I would opt to actually skip it because if you don't do it, it's impossible to soft lock. But I do understand that people want to, get the fastest times that they can. So.
True. So Nintoaster with a very good Mother Brain 2, and Popplars with a very nice Ridley, and she did a nice spring ball strat to get grabbed at the end.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Two really good boss fights at the same time.
Nintoaster just did something very interesting. After he filled back up, he ran into Mother Brain, but in this category, when you take Varia off and you top yourself off to full, you're exactly at 100 health for the stand-up, and you actually don't have to run into her again for her to trigger.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I guess theoretically there are situations where you could accidentally, like, double hit or something and die, but, he's just fine.
Right, because 100 is the cutoff, right? Like, if you had 101, I think you would have to take a hit.
Correct.
Is that right? Yeah.
That's right. So, one thing to note here that FBS mentioned earlier is the baby Metroid will essentially lock itself in place after you get topped off. So in this category, different from 100%, you have way less time. It's literally about to fill right now. Luckily, he was able to avoid getting soft locked right there. But you have to be kind of careful when you elect to get into position, because sometimes if you don't get there at the right time or if you don't get lucky, you can actually have some problems with that particular part. Very nice stand up by Nintoaster. Taking advantage of the rainbow beam of raging love and vengeance, I guess.
Yeah, even Nintoaster did 3 safety saves in this run, and is even with taking the time to do those 3 safety saves is just on an incredible pace.
Yeah, excellent run by Nintoaster here. Popplars making her way through the Frog Speedway, getting ready to head to the business center and then head up to Meridia.
So what do you think? Do you think we're going to see Nintoaster or Popplars save the animals?
Well, selfishly, I hope not. But I'm a speedrunner traditionalist at heart. I say save the frames, kill the animals, but certainly wouldn't begrudge anybody for doing whatever they feel their heart, in their heart is correct.
Well, now we do have a tournament leaderboard now with a Hall of Fame, so you do want to save those frames.
Absolutely. And I would like to take the opportunity to remind everyone that they are not real, so you don't have to feel too bad if you don't save them. And Nintoaster looks like he's finished with a official SRL time of 39:26, finishing in first place with the win. GG to Nintoaster.
Yeah, GG. That's a very nice race time.
Absolutely. And now Poppy is getting ready to head to Batoon here. I'm not 100% sure. Like, I know Popplars is not as familiar with GT Classic as like 100% or 80%. So I don't know if she's aware of the microwave.
I think she probably knows from the runs she's done and also from randomizers.
Okay, very good. Actually, the funny thing is the reason I mentioned that was because when I first did GT Classic, like my first several runs, I didn't even know that I had X-ray because you know it's not up there, right? You can't see it, so I wasn't even aware that the game gave it to me.
I think the one that I didn't understand was I didn't understand how to do that on Fantoon. Because I don't think we mentioned this earlier, like all the details, but at Fantoon, you actually have to start the fight with regular missiles.
Correct.
Because just a charged plasma isn't going to work right away as your first shot. So that took me a while to figure out.
Yeah, that's a great point. Sometimes people will, I actually have done this myself. When I found out you could microwave Fantoon, I would just immediately try to microwave, and that never works. You gotta get him moving first out of his first eye-opening segment.
So Popplars, I think, has taken a couple of quick little breaks to type in the SRL chat. She's telling Nintoaster GG and stuff like that. So if you see her pause for a second, I think that's what was happening.
And notice that she's crouching. And there it is.
Yeah, that was very fast.
Perfect.
I don't know. I think maybe I hold the X-ray for too long or something, but that looked really fast to me.
Yeah, I actually messed that up a lot. Most of my Dragons are like, I don't kill Dragon on the first cycle, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have that happen too. I think part of it has to do with, maybe part of it is kind of where you're positioned in the room and just the timing of your shot.
Yeah, that's a good point. So now Popplars has taken care of 3 of the 4 bosses and will path up to Wreck Ship. And as FBS mentioned earlier, the cool part about this category is it's the shortest Wreck Ship there is. You just run in, you kill Fantoon, and then you immediately leave the way that you came out, as opposed to having to path up and do, you know, bowling and all that stuff. So it's a really okay. FBS, I'm gonna let you take this one, buddy.
Yeah, so all right, so what you just saw there was Popplars was making her way back through the Batoon room, and that's the route that you're supposed to do. Earlier we saw her kill Batoon and get out of there. If you kill Batoon and escape that room too fast the first time, it actually doesn't trigger Batoon being dead, and the wall will be back up and Batoon will be alive again. And that's what we just saw. So it actually is, it's like you're getting punished for moving too fast. So she just moved so fast the first time she was leaving that room that it didn't really kill Batoon. So she has to take an alternate route.
Yeah, and for the first time ever in a race or anywhere in my entire life, I guess I get to say, live, monster. You're right where you belong.
Oh, yeah. Batoon is back alive again. Batoon is back alive.
That was pretty lame, but that's the best I got. One thing we did not mention, that, you know,
kissing the fish.
Yeah, kissing the fish. One thing we didn't mention that is can be taken advantage of in any category is space jump in water. The physics of space jump in water are actually different than in the normal air. So sometimes you'll see the runners like be able to spam it a lot more and move quickly, whereas you can't really do that in the normal sections of the game.
I'm upset that Popplars didn't get that frame perfect spring ball trick. I'm gonna have to ask her after this if she tried it and missed it or not.
Another cool thing about this category, kind of like 100%, is once you get that door open, you don't have to drop another power bomb at the bottom because you're never going to path back down there. So you just get to kind of make your way up there as quickly as possible.
I'm still hung up on the Batoon room.
Yeah.
You know, having that happen in a race, it's just so rough because, you know, you want to move as fast as you possibly can. So when you kill Bathoon, you want to get out of there as fast as you can. But yeah, you get punished for being too fast.
Exactly.
But
Plus,
she actually like adjusted really fast. She did really
oh
good
yeah,
at like identifying, okay, this is what happened, this is what I need to do, because that could really throw you off. You need to like figure out an alternate route that you're not expecting.
exactly, and that's kind of in line with what I was going to say, which is, you know, it's really a jarring experience to enter that room, and then the wall's there, and you hear the music. You know, like it's
Yeah.
not ever what you expect to see.
Yeah, and even though we didn't see it, if she had like stayed in the room and like moved a little bit to the left, you would have seen Bathoon like moving around and alive again. And you can actually fight Bathoon through the wall and kill him a second time. Just, I don't know, for fun, I guess.
I think, did both of our runners get fast opening section?
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch the pattern for Nintoaster.
I think he did. I could be mistaken, but unfortunately, Popplars accidentally shot Fantoon too many times, and he went back into hiding. But hopefully, we'll be able to get him going here.
There's something about this setup for the microwave kill on Fantoon. Something about it that I find tricky sometimes. Like I've had GT Classic runs where the Fantoon fight is like slower than my any percent Fantoon.
Oh yeah, I've done that too. It's really, like you said, just kind of unnatural in a way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And you're trying to charge up this charge shot, and Fantoon is off screen, and you're trying to like figure out what height Fantoon is going to be at, and yeah, it's kind of strange.
And now the Elephant Ghost has been dispatched, and Popplars will make her way to Torian to have a little visit with Mother Brain.
So let's see if she decides to Shine Spark out of here. Reverse Ocean Spark.
I hope she doesn't bonk the door. It's really easy to accidentally do that. It happens to me all the time. Okay, good. She got it just fine. Very nice.
Yeah, that's a really fun Shine Spark. Dodging those moat missiles.
Oh yeah, for sure. You mean the PB missiles?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. They're not really PB missiles in GT Classic, though.
Probably not.
No.
But now that you mention it, I think it's probably the only item that you even have a chance to collect. You know, once you get the code.
Well, I guess you could get the Bathoon tank. If you felt like you were low on energy.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to go out of your way to get it, though.
Whereas, well, you mean something that's just kind of in your way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Cerberoth, FBS and I lovingly refer to the moat missiles as PB missiles because he and I have, on like multiple occasions during our PB runs, for whatever inexplicable reason, we will never pick them up, and then during what eventually ends up being our next PB, we somehow run into them and pick them up. I don't know why, but it just seems like something that happens to us a lot.
Yeah, it should cost you 7 seconds additional for getting them, but I don't know. Maybe it's good luck.
Yeah, in fact, I think when I first went for my sub 50, like my first sub 50 any percent time, the closest I got before I got it was a 50.04, and I got those missiles, and I remember feeling just absolutely sick about it.
Well, I think your latest PB had an extra E-tank that you usually don't get, right? So
that's true, yeah.
Maybe like extra items actually is a good thing.
I guess so. Maybe it just does something to you psychologically.
Or it's manipulating the RNG, having that extra item percentage.
Exactly. So one thing you'll see some runners do in this category, Nintoaster elected to do this during the baby skip portion where he took Varia off, is sometimes people will, de-equip screw attack during the elevator sequence, but it's definitely not mandatory. But if you end up wanting to attempt the sort of regular Zeb skip, you have to turn screw attack off. So I'm sure at some point Popplars will remove that. And unless she does the down back. Do you know if she does the down back skip?
I don't think she does, but I don't know. We'll see.
I've actually never learned that one. That's probably something I should look into. Have you ever done it before?
No. I've only done kind of the standard ice one, and I've played around a little bit with the speed Zeb skip, but never the down back. Very nice
Zeb
Metroid
skip.
rooms. Very nice. All 4 of those Metroid rooms are very good.
Totally crushed it. And her, ammo is in a perfectly fine spot, like for speed. We mentioned earlier that you don't really have to worry about your supers, but it's still a little bit faster to have some supers because you can, one-shot, the red doors and stuff like that. So she's in a really good spot to have a quick Zeb room.
Okay, so what you see her doing here, she's taking damage on purpose. So if you decide not to go for baby skip, which is, sometimes that's a good decision in a race, is you want to damage yourself down as quickly as possible to speed things along. And that might be why she left screw attack on, because if you do what she did there, where you hold a charge shot and you have screw attack on, you can actually get damaged faster. There's something about kind of jumping while you're holding a charge shot. With screw attack, it'll like cancel your iframes, and you can take your next hit even faster.
Oh, neat.
At least that's my understanding of it. So actually keeping screw attack on for a little while longer probably saved her time in that room.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing you'll note, this is true of like, in particular, it helps a lot in like 100%, is if you miss baby skip or you don't attempt it, the baby will actually drain you faster without Varia on. Did you already mention that? I'm sorry if I'm repeating what you said.
No, I didn't mention that part.
So it's always a good decision, like if you're not going to go for it or if you get snagged, to go ahead and remove Varia, because you're going to take it off for stand-up glitch anyway, and that'll save you a little bit of time. Popplars getting the Zeb skip on the first try, very beautiful. And now getting ready to dispose of Mother Brain 1. Very nice.
Getting some extra missiles in there for good measure.
That's right. We call this the anti-stand-up glitch. This is the pre-stand-up glitch. Getting a little damage in before the fight.
Oh, I think she missed a couple, though.
I was going to make a joke about how if you miss even one, it cancels out all the damage from the rest of them, but I don't want to confuse anybody that doesn't run the game. One interesting thing of note that we just saw, or I don't know if it did it, but one thing to be aware of is the onion ring attack that Mother Brain uses actually doesn't give you iframes, I think. Or if it does, it's very short. So you can actually get like multi-hit from those. And in categories like low percent ice, that can literally be like instantaneous death. So gotta always be careful with those.
Alright, and Popplars is all set for stand-up glitch.
Yeah, so once again, just a little piece of education for everybody out there. Popplars did the same thing Nintoaster did, which was stand up and then run into Mother Brain. Technically speaking, in this particular category, you do not have to do that. Once you stand up, you're good to go and the cutscene should trigger. But it's not a big deal as long as you don't get hit twice. And Popplars off to a very nice stand-up. When the baby Metroid detaches from Mother Brain's head, it tries to put you back in that crouched, locked position. And you can free yourself, if you get stuck there, you can free yourself by using X-ray, but, uh-oh, let's hope that Popplars I think this is what we were talking about earlier, where the baby Metroid fills you up faster than normal, and if you don't get back fast enough, you can actually soft lock yourself here.
This is exactly what has happened to me a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, Popplars in chat right now, mentioning that she wished that she had not done stand-up. And to be honest, that's a very common thing to happen in GT Classic. As you guys can see, it's not only tricky because you only have 7 E-Tanks, what makes it even more tricky is the last E-Tank literally has, like, it doesn't have 100 health, as Fruit Bat Salad mentioned earlier. So it will fill up, like, it'll kind of sneak up on you, and it'll fill up, like, almost immediately. And once that happens, if you're not in the correct position, then the soft lock will occur.
Yeah, and there's really no coming back from that. It's yeah, that portion of the cutscene has already happened, and the baby won't reattach to you or anything like that. That's really rough. I've been there.
Yeah, it's never a good feeling when that happens. Especially since it's like, you know, literally the end of the run, because after that it's just Mother Brain 3 and the escape. So I think
still 2 really good runs tonight.
Yeah, Poplar says officially .forfeit in the SRL channel. But an excellent attempt, and almost got through it right there. This category can be very brutal. It has a lot of really tough tricks, and it was really cool to see both runners you know, get through the lava dive and the green gate glitch and stuff. So GG to Nintoaster for the win. GG to Popplars on an excellent race. And I think, I'm not sure. Let me double check the schedule and see if there are any more races that are going to happen on Speed Gaming 5. But I do think there are other races either tonight or tomorrow that are happening for the tournament.
Yes, I don't think we have anything else tonight. This is probably your last Super Metroid tournament race tonight. But I see 4 of them on the schedule tomorrow and 4 of them on the schedule Sunday. So we've got a really full weekend. It looks like it starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. with Janice Seal versus Antinomy.
Ah, yes. And for anybody who is not aware, I think most people are, Antinomy or Antinomy, I'm not actually 100% sure how to pronounce it, but that is Mr. Sephi himself.
Yeah, I believe it's pronounced Sephi.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And then what else do we got tomorrow, FBS?
Let's see. We got TG Derp versus Richman. That's at 3 p.m. At 4 p.m., Eduardo versus Elminster. And at 6 p.m., Woody versus Nintaler. And some of those have the channels decided, and some of them I think channels aren't decided yet.
Yes, and the good news is we have a lot of great commentary coming up tomorrow as well. For the Sephi versus Janice Seal match, we'll have Stump and White Mage Becky. For Eduardo Metroid 3 versus Elminster RTA, we'll have Freya Spirit and Popplars. So you guys will get to hear some more of the excellent combination of Freya Spirit and Popplars. I think they have done, I think they've combined together to do some other commentary so far this this tournament. And then Woody and Nintaler will be commentated by Toasty Muffins and Palmy. And I want to give a quick shout out to Nintaler. I think he's friends with Maniacal42. And Nintaler is actually a Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past runner. And literally within, I think, the last like 2 weeks or something, like has, you know, entered this tournament and learned enough to get through a lot of the runs. And I just want to give a big shout out to him for being willing to, like, you know, test himself and try to learn whatever he can in that amount of time. It's incredibly difficult, so props to him for that.
Yeah. These are, especially with this multi-category tournament, multi-category with some really tough categories in it. Yeah, so tomorrow's a pretty full day for this, and I guess we should say you should follow these runners. I think we can get the links in the chat somehow. Let's see. I'm going to try to make the link show up. But yeah, go follow Popplars, go follow Nintoaster. These are both really good runners that you should be following on Twitch. And follow Kip, but he doesn't go by Southern Kip anymore. You follow he's just Kip now. Really easy to find. It's just a really short Twitch name, Kip.
Yeah, I would just like to say, don't follow Fruit Bat Salad. There's really nothing going on his channel that you're going to want to watch. I'm just kidding. Fruit Bat Salad is actually literally the very first person in the entire Super Metroid community that came into my channel when I was just messing around with Super Metroid and encouraged me and taught me a bunch of stuff. So definitely follow Fruit Bat Salad. But yeah, Popplars and Nintoaster, both excellent runners, even better people. Check them out and keep coming back for more great content on all the speed gaming channels. At this point, I'll say goodnight. Thank you guys for watching. I had a blast, Fruit Bat Salad. It was awesome to be able to do commentary with you for the first time, and I'll let you close us out, my man. Yeah, this was a lot of fun, Kip. Thank you, and hope we get to do it again. So have a good night, everyone, and yeah, let's. I guess I will see you around in all these races this weekend. So have a good one. See you next time.